Good morning to everybody. We're just assembling now. I'm going to share with everyone who is waiting for Rotary Club of Global Impact, number 224-228. We have quite a few people coming in and still assembling, So please take your time, everybody. Yep, looks like Dave Lynn is coming in. Come on in, Dave. Welcome to Dave. Nikolay is on. Nikolay, where are you at now? Are you in Korea or Russia? Where are you at? Oh, Moldova. Okay, fantastic. Great to hear. Let me go on ahead and share that screen with everyone, guys, as we get ready. Still a few more people sending me messages. Istiak Doza, it wants to come in from Bangladesh. So let's get him in there. There's Firoz. Okay. And we'll get Istiak. He's asking for the link. And I think, Patty, can you send him the link for today's show? He may have dropped out of the Friends of Rotary, he is saying, by accident. Yeah, or just send it to him privately. Let me see. I might be able to. I'll have to check him later.
I got it.
And see why he dropped out of the group. I know sometimes, honestly, people change their phone, and it creates a new system, and they have to then try to come back into WhatsApp. And
Marty, friendly reminder for everybody: if you go to the Rotary Club of Global Impact.org, the link is always right there live as well.
Yeah, except for today, I had to apologize to Quanta and tell her I was wrong and had failed because she called me earlier saying, "Hey, where's the link?" And I was like, I put the link in the email. She didn't get the email from DACDB. I don't know why. And I did not put the link live on the website and failed everybody. And actually she said, "You sound like you're upset." And I was like, I am upset at myself. I have failed my people, and
we forgive you, Marty.
I was wrong. I was definitely wrong. And I made her cry this morning too, which is a sin.
Yes.
She said, I'm going to have to get off the phone because I can't believe you're apologizing and admitting you were wrong. And that's just so outrageous in a leader. I was like, well, not really. We have Rota kids over here today, guys. Our one of our first members, I think also Desiree is her daughter is a member of Rota Kids, and Linda Duong in Australia is going to watch this later. It is 11 o'clock at night for her. Thank you, Dr. Pauline. Dr. Pauline Crawford is with us today. Thank you for joining us today on Rotary Club of Global Impact, number 224-228. I'm Marty Mangello. If you've never met me or seen me, I hope you're doing good. I just would like to begin today by telling you that I love you. I'm studying peace. My mentor is on. He was here. I'm not sure. There he is. He's listening and watching me. I shocked him a bit the other day during the International Peace Day and said, I'm a practitioner of war and killing and retired from the American military 30 years. Mike is also from the Army, retired from the American military of 30 years. And people ask me what I know about peace, and I said, quite stupidly, quite juvenile behavior. Well, it's where they have the peace negotiations at the end of the wars and stuff. It's where they have the, people with the orange robes and they shave their heads on the top of the mountains. It's a peace center in the Himalayas. And Quanta mentioned to me that's not at all what Rotary is about, with the peace and what we're doing and the peace centers. And so I was like, I am self-admitted as a sinner. I'm studying under Firoz, my mentor, just beginning to learn about what all peace is and the 7 peace centers that Rotary has built worldwide. So I am studying and trying to learn and seek peace within my life, but I'm very, very far from being an expert. So before we start the meeting today, I would like to just go around the room and ask each person, what did you think about our district's Peace Day and International Peace Day? And please take 1 minute. We'll start with Quanta. Quanta, are you ready? Here is your 1 minute.
Thank you. I was very, very blessed and felt privileged to be a part of the committee that was planning it. But I don't want to take an iota of credit for the event because they did the work, and I'm very happy at least to be present in their deliberations and hard work. Thank you so much, Firoz. You did a great job. Thank you.
He sure did. We'll shift to New York City, away from Charlotte, North Carolina. Patty at Miss Ugram, our secretary, global secretariat, Patty Frudenberg.
Thank you, Marty. Thank you, Quanta. Well, you know what bubbled up when you talk about that Peace Day, and Fidos, hats off. That was a beautiful, beautiful shares. The fellowships, I love that they came and shared their fellowship experiences. That resonated. I mean, just it reminded me of when we heard, the other stories. So I just loved hearing all those fellowship stories. And the cake topper was love heals, and the idea that music heals. And then, you know what, it bubbled up because I shared it in the friends group, our anthem. And do I need to say more? Marty, you take over with that one. But yeah, our anthem, thanks to, Pauline Crawford, Dr. James, and he is just amazing. And that's going to be exciting. But anyway, that's what I got out of that Peace Day. Was beautiful, beautiful shares.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Over to Las Vegas, Nevada, Dr. Pauline Crawford, our president-elect.
Thank you. I think peace is essential. And what I'm going to talk about this morning about authentic harmony, it leads us to a peaceful world. And the only thing we can be is peaceful in the moment, here, now. Sadly, I missed the event. I got my time zones wrong. I got there for the last 3 minutes and everybody had gone. But I think peace is something that is going to be part of Rotary Club of Impact, global impact, that we need to spread this message of peace. And I'm going to talk about the lighthouse and how we shine our light across the world. So wait for that later on. But yes, peace and love and harmony.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Pauline. I'd like to run down to Florida. We are concerned about the hurricane coming in, Hurricane Ian. Antoine Thomas, our Sergeant at Arms. Antoine, 1 minute about peace or how it is important to you. And I know everyone is asking me, is there a recording of the International Peace Day? I haven't been able to find it just yet. I'm probably looking in the wrong places, but Firoz, as our leader, will help us. Antoine Thomas in Florida.
Thanks, Marty. I'm with you, still learning about what all peace entails. But, as military men and women in the uniform, peace comes in many forms. So meditation, I believe, is part of that. But I think peace comes from within. So, a lot of people say, well, how can people who, have a high financial profile, why are they, some of them, not happy? It has nothing to do with externalities. You have to be willing to accept the frailty of being a human being and learn from other people. So I think every day we learn a little bit more about how to establish peace inside ourselves and share that outwardly peace with other people, so that we can all, learn within our own community how to exhibit that peace externally. So still learning myself on how to garner a little bit more, because I believe having sanity in this world so other people can see that as leadership. Other people look to leaders to embody what is it that they should be doing that they are not too familiar with. So I'm still learning, but here in Florida, we're all trying to maintain a level of inner peace so that we can prepare for what's coming, and also, live through this moment that we're going through. But I feel peaceful right now. I don't know about anyone else, but hopefully I can stay that way and moving forward. So
that's awesome. We love you. Thank you for that. Also, 1 minute. We talk a big game. We punch much higher than our weight in this club, and but honestly, we know little to nothing about what we are doing in Rotary. I have only been a member since December 25th of last year. But one person who has been in Rotary a long time is Dr. Rodriguez. Dr. Rodriguez in Florida. 1 minute.
Thank you. Thank you, Martin. 14 years with Rotary and focused on peace. What the presentation did was exactly touched on all key notes. For instance, when we think of peace and how we maintain that peace and reprogram what has been done wrong, music is universal. So the biggest educational tool of what I gathered from our presentation was that music is the key to bring harmony into the world. And there's the tools. Then on top of it, we have this magnificent platform that we can diffuse our message of peace around the world by having our centers located. So it makes us, we are able to empower others with the word of peace and harmony. So it was a magnificent presentation. And then to see what we were producing out of the centers of peace themselves, as we say, choose your surrogates wisely. And that's what Rotary has the ability to do. So I know I was going 70 miles an hour when I was listening to it, but trust me, I got every bit of it. It was very well, the production of it was outstanding.
Yeah, it really was. And thank you so much. I know that Firoz was surprised we had 7 members of our club on that day. Over to the beautiful countryside in the Green Valley of Love Valley, Reverend Doris Kennedy. Oh, you have to unmute. I think you're muted right now. There you go.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure being here. I am new to Rotary. Okay. I am new to Rotary, and I was not privy to be at the program due to medical issues. But to me personally, peace is, first of all, showing love to everyone. Giving is very important to me. It's very peaceful because we are all one. We are all one, and we all have needs. And I think that when we think of, well, for me personally, when I think of others before I think of myself, that gives me an inner peace and being blessed to be able to give to others, to share with others, to help others. I was speaking with Marty one day and I said, we do these things sometimes to our own detriment, but we can't stop because we truly love one another because we are all one mankind. We're all the same. And I just feel very blessed and very happy to be involved with Rotary, because you are the epitome of love, peace, sharing, and giving. And thank you so much for permitting me to be a part of this very important program.
It's our honor. It's our honor. And I'd like to then go to Moldova in the middle of Europe with Nicolae Sipala. Nicolae, if you would like to, even as the new chaplain, do the invocation for today.
Okay, thank you very much. Are you hearing me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Should I pray and say a few words, or just pray, or how you?
Yes, please.
Okay, please join my prayer. Dear Heavenly Parent, we are so happy to meet all brothers and sisters globally here. We are meeting now because you inspire us to meet at this special meeting. This is not by accident meeting. It's a special prepared by you and also by all brothers and sisters who joined here. I pray very much that we could bring all the results, everything what we done till now, and especially this 21 September Peace Day 2022. And let's discuss together. Please give us wisdom how we could move together further and bring peace in this difficult time. Dear Heavenly Parent, please receive this short report. I pray in my name. Amen, amen, amen.
Well, thank you so much. Nicolae is a new member, and it's amazing. He is very familiar with Russian history and many things in that area of the world that a lot of us know few about. And so it's a true honor to have him as part of our club now, as a paying member. And with Dr. Miguel advised that we appoint him as our international chaplain, the non-denominational chaplain. So celebrating all faiths, and don't forget Rotary is non-sectarian, non-religious, and non-political. So we try to have a wonderful, invocation like that. And again, if you don't pray and don't believe in any form of higher being, that's okay with us also. We do have members that do not believe in anything and will not pray. We just ask that you have kind thoughts in your heart. And like Gandhi said, compassion is the most important thing to have. You don't have to have a religion. He said compassion then would be the most important thing. So over to a wonderful gentleman here in Charlotte, Dave Lynn, highly recommended by Quanta Dawn Light. Dave, how are you today?
Hello, good late morning, everyone. Good to see Feroz. We're looking forward to seeing you at the next cabinet meeting. Quanta, are you here? I don't see you.
She's down at the bottom. Yes, she doesn't have her photo up, but just a QD there.
All right. Well, good to see everyone. Thank you for inviting me to listen in.
Thank you. Any comments on 1 minute of peace? Have your 1 minute, sir.
No, I just love peace through action. So I hope to join all of you in the work you're doing.
Thank you so much. And to Feroz Pira, 1 minute, please, about peace.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, the moment you became a Rotarian, you became a peace builder, because if you look at Rotary's history, in 1921, the Constitution was amended to make peace between nations part of the objective of Rotary. So we are part of that. And every program that you see out there is designed to have people from different countries interact, whether it's a global grant project, whether it's an international scholarship, where students go to a country other than their own, the youth exchange programs, and of course the Peace Fellowship, where people with degrees can go to a country other than their own, to one of the 7 peace centers. And we have a new one being set up probably in Cairo or Istanbul. That'll be the 8th one. So that's in the works. And so we have peace centers on every continent, and these students really learn, through the 2-year program, how to negotiate, mediate, put themselves in other people's shoes, understand issues from different perspectives. And you saw some of them on the video. Marty, I'll send you the full video.
Oh, thank you.
If you can distribute it, anybody who wants to see it, you can skip past my comments and listen to the Peace Fellows and the other young people who participated, because these are the kinds of people that we are creating through our programs. But so when I talk about peace, I'm talking beyond inner peace, which I think is super important. It's the first thing that must happen. You must know yourself, and you must be at peace with where you are and what you're doing. But beyond that, Rotary is focused on peace between nations by, fostering collaboration between people from different nations. Because I think it was Mark Twain who said, "My enemy is the one whose story I have yet to hear." And so as you talk to other people in different countries and you hear their stories, you suddenly realize that we're all part of humanity. We have the same needs, the same wants, the same desires and ambitions. So that's a form of peace. And now you will have heard when you see the video, the concept of positive peace, which is we are now moving to the next stage of peace building, which is peace within nations, peace within our own communities and neighborhoods. So without making a long speech out of this thing, I think, there's a lot that we must do in our own communities. I know as an American that we are not a fully functional society. There are so many divides that we need to fix. And so there's so much opportunity for us to build peace within our communities and look for marginal communities to help. So that's how it is evolving over the ages in terms of what peace building is. So I'll stop here.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much. Before we start with Pauline's speech and presentation today, we are going to play our world anthem. This will be the second time we've played it. I will caution everybody to get hold of your thoughts. This is not going to be an inspiring, booming Whitney Houston voice. You are not going to be transported to a stadium with 85,000 people in there. Okay, it is not that type of song. We love this song because the level of volume and the lack of strength in the singing voice shows fragility. It is going to take compassion and empathy on your part to search within yourself to understand why they would pick a semi-pathetic song for their world anthem. How come we can't, and I've already had questions, how come we can't get, Marty, I'll just paraphrase, how come we can't get, Marty, like a power singer? Like when you're watching The Voice was their recommendation, or American Idol, one of these power thrust, maximum, like truly inspirational Marty, maybe even fireworks going off in the background or something, they have the stuff that pops out of the air. So I'm going to put this on, and I want you to look within yourself to understand why this club has decided we want this beautiful, wonderful song called Smiles to be our world anthem. And it does have some visuals. And no, before you ask, because I have been asked already, you don't have to stand for the anthem. So that's the good part, okay? I'll just put it on for a second, make sure everyone can get audio, and then I'll continue. Is everybody able to hear that?
Yes.
Okay.
Where is all the good news? Where's the helping hand? Where are all the smiles I used to see? You gotta be here somewhere. I think I'll take a look around. Maybe try to find some harmony. All the love we used to know, just too hard to find. Giving in to feelings of despair. The world we knew is upside down. Fears replacing love. It hurts. No one seems to care. There's a smile that says hello. Another says goodbye. one that promises I'm giving you my heart. I've seen a smile convey I love you. I'm proud of who you are. One that keeps us close when we're apart. Walking from the darkness of all that we've been through, it seems that there might be a way to leave behind the loneliness we've known and live again life of There's a smile that says hello, another says goodbye, one that promises I'm giving you my heart. I've seen a smile convey I love you. I'm proud of who you are, and one that keeps us close when we're apart. Maybe it's a thought I'm thinking we can have, conversations that end with let's agree. We may be a little closer than we think to finding our way home in harmony. Finding our way to harmony, to the beauty and the joy of harmony.
That's absolutely wonderful.
Special thank you to Jim Jiminy, the cricket, Jim Jiminy. I call him the husband of Dr. Pauline Crawford Omps, Dr. Jim Omps. So also a veteran, American veteran, and semi-disabled and struggling with his journey into VA, a musician. And often Pauline has become our guest speaker today. Pauline Crawford has become an executive producer with a whole band all around and all these people playing instruments. It's quite the sight to see. We're hoping to in fact have a telethon. We may have to whip out a telethon. We're only gaining about 1% money on the second Puerto Rico investment that we did. The first one we did with our live show on Saturday instantaneously was funded within about 3 hours, the restaurant in Puerto Rico. The second one is gaining about 1% financial stature every day. And my mathematic algorithm on her, Rebecca, who wants to try to open her surf hair salon, is that if she's at 36% and 41%, it's 1% per day. She's got 22 days to go. She's not going to make it. She'll cough and choke at 63% and run out of donations. So that information is available on kiva.org if you would like to provide a $25 loan to her. Remember, Kiva does not do grants. We don't hand out money. We give money to no one. It's all loans, and our average payback ratio is 96.34% worldwide. We have loaned about $1.7 billion so far. We're in about 77 countries. We're not in every country, okay? Regretfully, we're not in every country. We presently have about 1.95 million investors in our total portfolio. And if you would like to examine the hedge fund-like statistics in my portfolio or Patty's or many of our members, you'll notice every single one of them has this Rebecca hair salon in Puerto Rico is an open profile at kiva.org. We can send you more information about that later. Without further ado, I'd like to get started today with our guest speaker, Dr. Pauline Crawford. She is a good friend of mine, a distinguished author, international speaker, certified entreprenologist, Ph.D. in gender dynamics intelligence. And she's an originator and an expert and a conversion, conversation changemaker. And so her vision is really authentic harmony among men and women. She's going to talk about that today. And it's really fostered by a new leadership narrative that properly honors men and women as never before. So this is super interesting. You'll often hear her talking about authentic harmony, authentic masculinity, authentic femininity, not being fake to try to get along at work and stuff. It's fascinating stuff that she has developed in her many books that she's published. And I think Dr. Pauline is going to be able to tell us a lot more, and probably a lot better than I can. My good friend, Dr. Pauline Crawford from Las Vegas, Nevada.
Wow, thank you, Marty. What an amazing introduction, and welcome to all of you. I hope you can hear me okay.
Yes.
Just as a bridge between that song and where we are now, the reason that we created those visuals was that we do live in a world of chaos, sadly, and that's why we're here. That's why we're here, to light our light across the world. And I'm very passionate about this. And I'm very grateful to Marty for creating those posters with the lighthouse. The lighthouse is a really important illustration, I think, of how we can both be our own good self and also come together. So my challenge to you as you listen to me, and I've got a couple of illustrations to share on my flip chart, but I thought I wouldn't do a PowerPoint. I want to just be in touch with you. I want to ask you, in a world of chaos, how can you be the best version of you? What is the best version of you? Now, sometimes the simplest things are the most important. I was challenged years ago. I was thinking of how to make an acronym of BEST, B-E-S-T. And I was being very intellectual. I was saying business, strategy, blah, 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 blah. And my son-in-law, who's a fantastic relational salesperson, he said, oh, make it easy, Pauline. Best is be extraordinary starting today. Very simple. So I want you to keep that in mind. How can we be our best? Can we be extraordinary starting today? We know that our club is unique. We would say that. We are a lighthouse shining a light across the world. But it is in chaos. So I love to look at acronyms. I like them. So let's look at the word chaos, C-H-A-O-S. So the C stands for all the challenges we have. We've got challenges between men and women. We've got challenges out there between countries. There's so many arguments going on now about, dare I say, politics, religion, gender, sexuality, finance. Everything is in some amount of challenge. So I want us to turn the C of challenge into choices. So I believe we have choices. We have choices to be our best. And that's what I love about this club. I think we have an energy for being best. So you notice in the video for that song, it's about smiles emerging from the darkness. And there's sadness and there's joy. And sometimes even sad moments, there's joy, even when we lose a loved one, depending on the situation. So what is the H of chaos? I said it's the hard times. There are hard times. Yeah, we know that. Everybody is challenged by society and the economy, let alone the war in Ukraine and the environmental disasters going on and the hurricanes and everywhere. But let's turn that into harmony. Now, as you know, harmony is my favorite word. It's been a value of mine all my life. I was very fortunate to be born into a very happy, harmonious family in England, in the suburbs of England. In fact, if any of you know it, it's called Finchley, and it might be renowned as being the first place where Margaret Thatcher became a member of Parliament. And most of you will know who Margaret Thatcher is. But I lived in England all of my life, and a long time, and life has changed. So if we're going to change the hard times to harmony, we have to start with ourselves. It's got to be coming from here, from our own lighthouse. So what is the A? There is anger. There's a lot of anger in the world. There's a lot of marginalization. There's a lot of trauma. And I think that's what we've got to turn into, an attitude of attraction. We're already attracting many people to our club because they love the difference that we make, the fact that we talk about love and we talk about peace and we talk about harmony. And I want to turn that into an attitude of gratitude. We've heard that a lot of time, but how can we be grateful for each other? So the O, what is the O? The O is obstacles. And we can turn those into opportunities. So rather than arguing about something, he said, she said, he said, they said, let's look at what is the perspective that we can come from, that we can share. And the S, I think the S has to stand for stress. We're all pretty stressed. But let's turn that into synergy, turn that into creating a sacred space for sharing. And synergy, for me, is so important when it comes to marginalization of women, the disempowerment, violence against women and girls, so many issues. But this is not about just women. This is about men and women coming together and making sure that we synergize. Synergy is the value of all the parts coming together. And I think that is another reason I love this club, because I live in Las Vegas. I come from England. You live in different countries of the world. We already have that energy of local identity, but we're all human beings. So why is it about the lighthouse that's so magical? I love magical conversations. And a magical conversation is one without judgment, without anger, and without coercion. So in a time period that we're talking about a topic, and it might be a very sensitive topic, like violence against girls, how do we manage to get into that table of conversation and actually listen to each other? Because we all come with our own perspective and our own experience and potentially our own judgments based on maybe a traumatic thing that happened to us in our past. So how do we sit at that table and really become non-judgmental? It takes a lot of effort sometimes for some people. But as I run these conversations, what I find is interesting is people love the fact that they can be in that sacred space without their ego, because anger is attached to ego and judgment is attached to ego. So whether we're a man or a woman, or we're old or young, or we're a different sexual preference, or we're different color, whatever it is, we can have assumptions and judgments. So I'm asking you to pause on those, take those out of the equation. So you might notice by some of my language that I'm a maths student. I was very good at mathematics when I was a kid, and I loved geometry as well. So I see things in numbers and connectivity. And how do we come together? What happens when we walk into a room, we sit at the table, and we've already made a decision about what's going to happen? It's not going to keep going smoothly. Yes. So one of the things is that we need to understand who we are. So we need to know ourselves in order to know others. That's one of my basic propositions. We need to know ourselves to know others, but we need to know ourselves without ego. So even if you've only got 12 years in your life, like my granddaughter, or you've got 73 as I have, we have a whole load of experience. And what do we do with that experience? Well, the idea is that we bring to the table our knowledge, yes, our experience, yes, but also our imagination, our ability to think beyond the limitations of the past. And this is going to help us to look at peace, to look at how do we create a world where there is no violence against another person. That's my vision. My vision is that the lighthouse that I want to shine a light from says that to hurt somebody else is not a good idea. That's being very British, but it really is a waste of time to go around hurting other people. Now, obviously, violence itself is physical violence, rape, killing, hitting somebody is appalling. But actually using the wrong words is also detrimental. So when we use anything that impacts another person in their solar plexus, so they go oh, did you really mean that? Now, that could be misunderstandings, especially between men and women, that we might misunderstand the intention of what is being said at the table. So if we take this right through from the family unit to the business unit to the boardroom of major corporations to communities and places in the world where things are not going right. So one of the things for me is that the lighthouse needs to shine a light individually and collectively. Okay, so each of us as a member of the Rotary Club of Global Impact, we create the whole. So there's one lighthouse for me, which is Rotary Club of Global Impact. And those are the key messages that we're shining out. We want to be made sure. Rotary International has key messages, peace being one of them for sure. And then we have, amazingly, a wonderful woman leading Rotary International at the moment. And her mission is about diversity, inclusion, equality. But it's also about creating conversational cultures. I was very privileged to go to the Rotary Convention in June. I met up with Feroz, it was fantastic, and with other people from the district. But what I observed on the stage with Jennifer Jones, and those of you who've watched her, she does everything by conversation. So she had an interview conversation with the head of UNICEF on the stage. And what you feel is when two people are having a conversation in an environment like that, you feel part of the conversation. And that's a very different approach to just speaking as I am to you at the moment. It's a different, communication is like this. Conversation is circular. So one of the things to remember was as soon as we get into a circular conversation, and ideally in the room together, because obviously that's a different energy level, and we say, right, there's no judgment here. There's no anger. I have lots of passion and enthusiasm, yes, but not anger. And no deliberation about, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Which sometimes happens with people who want action. And that's okay when we need action, but we need to seed the conversation. So as an example, when I run magical conversations, they might last for 90 minutes. And in that 90 minutes, there's no directive which says, okay, what are we going to do next? Because there are people in the room who don't want to go to action too quickly. So when I've studied behavior with men and women and different types of behavior, some people need lots of probabilities before they make a decision. Other people go, it's that. Now, I'm just going to tell you now, I'm a person who needs lots of probabilities. So I know that I want to think about lots of different aspects of an issue. And then when I come to a decision, it's absolute. But for the person who makes a decision straight away, it may look as if I'm wasting time. So you probably come across people who do things in different ways. And what I think is fascinating in our world is that we don't teach children how to understand behavior. We need to look at how our education comes together, because each person is their own lighthouse. So what I mean about the lighthouse is that we have a value that's inside our own lighthouse. And I want you to think about being extraordinary starting today, being your best. What's happening in your value creation in your lighthouse? So I have an illustration as a bit like a school. This is one I made earlier. And some of you have seen this one before, and you don't need to necessarily see it totally, but you can see there's 3 arrows. So this is like the baseline of your lighthouse. And the 3 arrows are very simple. This is you. This is the singular. This is the individual, whatever makeup you are. Whether you're a man, you're a woman, you're old, you're young, you're whatever color, whatever sexual preference, this is you. And we take responsibility for everything. So if we're going to be extraordinary starting today, we need to know who we are. Know yourself in order to know others. The second arrow, the blue arrow here, is all about relationships. I hope you can see that. There's lots of little people. How we connect with each other. How many relationships do we have that are absolutely 10s? They're fantastic. And how many do we have which are 2s? They're great. They don't work. So what we want to do is to make sure that we're up in the 8, 9, 10 with all our relationships. And that's not about abandoning people. It's about saying, how do I relate? How do I take my essence into that relationship? And then how do I create the community? So you notice there's a little illustration there of my world. But we create our world through our relationships and through who we are. So this is called value creation. It's a very simple Buddhist principle that in order to know you, I need to know myself, but not in an ego sense. If I need to know the community, I need to know how the relationships work. And they're all different. So when it comes to studying men and women, as I do, and of course, this is a very hot topic when it comes to gender identity. This is not about gender identity. This is about how do we respond and react as men and women. I want to be a little bit bold in looking for authentic harmony, because I believe that men and women in the world, or whatever preferences we have, we are made to be together. And I don't mean that necessarily in a getting married and having babies sense, but do we have joint custody of the world? Now, be honest, we don't. Not in terms of demographics, and this is my mathematics heads coming out. More or less, half of the world is female, half of the world is male. And you know that from, if you look at demographic studies of any country in the world, the chart is virtually even. I believe it only gets more women when you get to like 100, because women last longer than men. So there are more 100-year-olds that are female. But essentially, whatever sexuality we want to choose, whatever we do, that's fine. But the internal functioning of the yin-yang, the masculine and the feminine, creates this energy in the world, which is strong and soft, is directional and flexible. So I've studied this and I look at it and I go, right, what kind of woman am I? How do I connect to other women? How do I connect to men? Now, not all men are the same and not all women are the same. So you see, my mathematical geometric head was going, how do I sort this out? So I actually just decided I could create a very simple map of the world. So I want you to imagine this. This is a circle of life. Everybody is in the circle. But if we understand that men generally, and this is long research over decades, men generally look at task first. They want to get the task done and do it efficiently. It's very yes, no, one way directive. And women, bless us, we're very circular. We're very menstrual. We have a cycle of loving and nurturing. And in my research that I've done, if you ask men how they see women, the word nurture will always come up in that line. If you ask women to say what women are, nurture will come up in that line. If you ask women to look at men, that word doesn't come up. It's not that men are not sensitive and protective, but you're not necessarily the nurturers of the world. So if we put together the nurturers and the providers, protectors, we get the most efficient, best mix. And this is where the synergy of men and women coming together. I want to just share with you a project that we're hoping to really bring to fruition, and Faraz is involved with me with this, that there's a movement in Central Africa to look at positive masculinity in a nation sense. So this is in central nations across Africa. And that the head of the African Union recently was posted to me a statement that he made that said, we really want this intention to go forward. It's actually in a charter. It is a voluntary charter, but it's saying to men, we want to respect the positive masculinity, which means we don't have the negative masculinity, which is causing violence against women and girls. But interesting enough, in this statement from him, he says, we want the responsibility to be equally taken by men and women. So I think that sounds to be a very sensible point of view. How it gets executed is really the challenge that we have, is how to help people get into that magical conversation. How do we get people into a space where they can say, oh, in my experience, which was traumatized by an experience maybe with violence or with men or with women or tension in boardroom, how do we get people past that obstacle you remember in the chaos? O was obstacle. And what do we want to turn the obstacle into? Opportunities. So I believe there's an opportunity to create a new language based on value creation and based on understanding our differences as men and women, that we can create a narrative that we will get to a point where we don't need to talk about equality because we've done it. So I think as much as I applaud everything that we have done to get us in some equal status as women and men together, we need to go a step forward and look at harmony. And how does that work in our own club? How does it work in our own lighthouse? If you think about it, the lighthouse doesn't move. It's a very simple statement, but I get a lot of people who say, oh, well, I'm this here and I'm that there, and I change this and I can, I can mold to that situation. But actually your lighthouse doesn't move. And the lighthouse, what is the lighthouse's business? The lighthouse business is to shine a light so that the ships on the raging sea don't crash on the rocks. So if you have anybody crashing into a relationship with you, maybe your light is not shining so that they understand how to sail past in harmony. And whether that's the ship or it's a nuclear submarine, I know that Marty knows about those, but it's about taking responsibility for this lighthouse shining out. So if the lighthouse is shining out love, peace, harmony, we need to just attach some attention to the words that we're saying at any point of our day. And if we're not sure whether we are understood or not, watch for reactions. Now, there was a classic difference between men and women where often they say, a man will say, well, are you feeling okay? And she'll say, yes. Actually, she doesn't mean it. There's evidence that men believe they really appreciate women, and there's evidence that women don't think that men appreciate them. So I'm going to give you a little clue here. When you appreciate a man to a woman, you just need to say it 10 times as opposed to once. And women, we need to ask for the appreciation if we want it, rather than going away saying, oh, he didn't care. Actually, at essence, we are vibrating at different frequencies. So the in-depth knowledge within my circle of life, which is gender dynamics intelligence, and 4 different archetypes, which I'm just going to share with you so you can decide who you are. The men are either a ruler or a philosopher. And the ruler is very task-focused, bullet points, needed now. The philosopher asks lots of questions to know what's going on behind it. And the women are the magician or the sovereign. The magician is in her head too much. The sovereign's in her heart, maybe too much. But women together use their heart and their head in combination and are really excellent at doing business. So I want to finish, and I know Patty put her hand up to ask a question, so I can ask what that is. The end point is being our best, being extraordinary side today, knowing who we are to know others, and really understanding that the light we shine is our responsibility. And if we shine it in a way that people can sail past us safely, that is our journey. Just to be, not try and fix anybody, not trying to overcome somebody else's difficulties. Yes, helping them with our missions, that's so important, but allowing them to join the journey. The journey across a raging sea is challenging. I've been a sailor a lot of my life in dinghies, and I've capsized, and I've fallen in the water, and I've uprighted the boat, and I know that it's a challenging situation, but you've got to get back in the boat and you've got to keep sailing. And if that lighthouse isn't shining, I'm going to crash on the rocks.
Exactly.
And we have inchoate, so we need to sort that. I'm blessed to be here with you, and I would love to honor you all with it now by asking if there are any questions. But thank you for listening, and just remember this: you are in charge of your own destiny, and we are together in charge of the destiny of the Rotary Club of Global Impact.
Any questions from anybody? Patty, you had a question?
Well, no, I was just gonna, I raised my hand because I wanted to answer Pauline's question, and I know she was just generally speaking. How do we do this? Well, if you have your Rotary magazine, on the first page,
Just got it
says, How can I become a peace builder? Right here. And you can go to positivepeace.academy/Rotary. But Pauline, thank you so much. I just want to say thank you.
Thank you,
And I
Pauline.
didn't need to interrupt, but I know we're at the top of the hour, and we just want to be mindful that we get to business before we close out. But thank you so much. Over to you, Marty.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And today's gift for our guest speaker, Pauline Crawford, Dr. Pauline Crawford, is a very special one. It is actually a joke that she gets to appreciate. Pauline mentioned the raging seas and that she's been a sailor. Of course, I was a sailor my whole life, sailing the oceans. And one of the transcripts from the Chief of Naval Operations is quite amazing to hear if you've never heard of it. The United States ship that was recorded on the radio conversation by the Canadian authorities, the transcript was released in October of 1995. And the United States ship, in talking to the other party, said, "Please divert your course 0.5 degrees to the south to avoid a collision." And the Canadian authorities came back and said, "Recommend you divert your course 15 degrees to the south to avoid a collision." And the American ship responded, "This is the captain of a U.S. Navy ship. I say again, divert your course." And the Canadian authorities responded back, "No, I say again, you divert your course." And the United States ship responded with the captain on the radio, "This is the aircraft carrier USS Carl C. We are a large warship of the United States Navy. Divert your course now." And the Canadian authority on the radio is recorded on the transcript saying, "This is the lighthouse. Your call." So that actually really happened. I know a lot of people are going to go checking all over the internet today to check that out, but it was an unbelievable transcript. And typical of Americans, we release everything about everybody and everything they did. So how embarrassing is that? I'd like to shift quickly into the treasurer's report. I don't believe Vincent is here today. His daughter is having a baby. Please pray for her. They were told through illness and disease that she would never have children, and they rushed to the hospital yesterday. The C-section was this morning, but our treasurer is doing good, and we have closed out our books with DACDB and through monitoring of the secretary. 4 of us online for last year. That was closed out on the 31st of June, or the 30th, 30 days, South September, April, June, and November. June 30th, that was closed out. You have to reconcile every bank statement with every, DACDB transaction. So we do have the DACDB module. If you would like to study, see where we're spending our money, analyze our records, we're one of the few clubs in world history that publishes our income statement on our website every month and our balance sheet every month on our website. It's live, even for people who are not Rotarians, have nothing to do with Rotary, to come in and forensically analyze with a forensic CPA what we're doing with our money. And we reconcile that every month and put up the new balance sheet and the new income statement live. So Vincent is a very well-known accountant and CPA for Fortune 500 firms, including Adidas International. So we're super happy to comply with our bylaws and constitution in that. And you'll notice we're with Bank of America, so a great bank to be with. Then beyond the Treasury, does anybody have any questions about the Treasury or what we're doing? We have almost about $3,000 as a balance. $2,713, I think, $17 right now. Any questions? Please see that on the website then, and analyze all of our records. We're an open club, okay? Also, I'd like to move on then. Patty, would you give us a quick briefing as the Secretariat for the World on the Board of Directors meeting yesterday?
Sure. So we did go over a few things upon approval on our next Board of Directors meeting. We did have a quorum. We had 7 of our board members, including President-elect, Sergeant at Arms, Secretary, DEIO, ECO, the Chief Human Resource, and of course our digital public relations. And we did come up with a vote unanimously to send money to Ukraine relief for $50 US dollars, $50 for Puerto Rico disaster relief, again $50 US dollars, Pakistan disaster relief $50, again US dollars. And we did put out the nomination for the term 2024, and also nominations are open for the Sergeant at Arms. Again, we also have a total of 24 yeses for our past poll on the what was it again? Not the bylaws.
Oh, the
Marty, help me.
Constitution poll was, yeah,
The Constitution
100%
polls.
voting. Thank you
Yes.
to Dr.
Yes.
Pauline, President-elect. 100% vote came in.
Yes. You mentioned the reconciliation. We had a good meeting. So it's a little lengthy today, but I'm pretty much done here. And again, we're working on development for our disaster response team. So that's also something that we're just working on as we speak. So yeah, it was a very successful meeting yesterday. And again, subject to approval on our next meeting. Back to you, Marty.
Yeah, thank you, Patty. We are accepting nominations for 2024. Remember, our club is the only club on earth out of 46,000 clubs that has such a unique bylaws. In our club, you not only vote for the president, but also the sergeant at arms, who is not allowed to be put into their position by the president. We felt that that provision in the bylaws from Rotary International was inappropriate. We are the only club that feels that way. We're not trying to be a problem to anyone, but we think if the president is appointing the sergeant at arms, then there's a little too much closeness there. So our club wanted to nominate and elect their own sergeant at arms to monitor all board meetings and all of our decisions and minutes. We actually have to send a copy to the sergeant at arms secondarily for safekeeping. So it's just a little bit of a different thing. I know a lot of people have asked me, why are we voting for the sergeant at arms? We don't do that in Rotary. It's like, well, in our club, we're allowed to. Our bylaws were approved by Rotary International. It's okay. We're not doing anything wrong in accordance with Robert Rules of Order, the 12th edition. Everything we're doing is okay. We're allowed to do that. So feel free to nominate people for sergeant at arms, and feel free to also realize that in our club, we do have campaign speeches where people are allowed to speak for 2 minutes and talk about what they would do during their tenure as the president or as the sergeant at arms. And we also allow them to type up a brief 1 paragraph and send that out to all members. That also is obtuse and abnormal behavior and conduct in Rotary. There generally is no campaigning and people giving speeches. So we're not talking about televised debates, guys, where they're going to face off for an hour. We're not doing that, okay? But certainly if a person wants to run for president, it would be nice that they would say something like, and we had a good example yesterday, after Marty's tenure for the year and what Pauline built on top of that, my intention would be in the year of 2024 to effectuate these things and work on this or work on that. You know, I think that sounds pretty normal to folks. So don't be surprised. You'll see that coming up. The secretary is going to release all the nominations and voting before the end of the year. I want to shift into 1 minute of love with Desiree in London, Desiree Richardson, Dr. Desiree Richardson. We have, of course, the Women of Heart Awards coming up in London, being hosted in the Hotel and Resort Center up on stage. Dr. Desiree, if you would please tell us how the Women Heart is going in about 30 seconds, and then please lead us in 1 minute of love.
Thank you so much, Martin. It is an honor to be here once again. And thank you to Dr. Pauline. An absolutely amazing talk today. So full of love and upliftment and empowerment. Yes, we are all getting prepared for the event of the year. We wish, but yes, WOHA and the launching of WOHA will be taking place on the 12th of November here in London at the prestigious Leonardo Royal Hotel, Tower Bridge. So if you're in London on the 12th of November, this is the place to be, to come to the event, feel the love, feel the excitement, celebrate with the amazing men and women who are making a huge difference in the world. We call them the beating hearts of humanity. And of course, our men, who we call the foundation of the humanitarian world, is going to be splendor. So you all are invited. Please visit our websites, www.womenofheartawards.com, and of course, www.gentlemenofheartawards.com. Today's message is about sharing a few beautiful words with all of you. I want to share a few powerful words that will get you to the next level and also to get myself to the next level. So, the first word I want to start off with is passion, being passionate about what you want in life. The second word is emotions, controlling how you think and how you let others make you feel. The third word is gratitude, being grateful for every little thing you have received or accomplished. And when you do all of these great things, many more doors will open for you. The fourth word is your energy. This is very important to get you through your daily activities for success. The fifth word is thoughts, your thoughts, your way of thinking. The sixth word is humility. I'm just going to leave you with that. What you give, you will gain back tenfold. So don't forget also humbleness, which is our seventh word, is not to always remain humble and grounded in whatever you're doing in life. And do not develop that big ego, and learn to respect others all the time. So thank you so much. So once again, when you have all of these things, you will be motivated to step into your greatness. There is enough abundance in the world for everyone. Keep pushing, stay beautiful, and stay grounded in love. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Always so beautiful. 1 minute of love. From the Women of Heart Awards, the Gentlemen of Heart Awards, and now including at the major stage event that they're having in London with Desiree, our fellow Rotarian, who I might add, punked Jennifer Jones when she drove over to meet her and walked up to her and said, I'm with Rotary Club of Global Impact, and my name's Dr. Desiree Richardson. She was pretty surprised. She was like, oh, I just met your president in North Carolina. Where you live here? She said, yes, I do. I live in London. So she drove all the way over to meet with her at a big event. We did have our barbecue. I promised to report on that. It was wonderful. I paid for everything. No bill to Rotary. We had a fun time, New York strip steaks and everything. Also, I would be remiss before I end our meeting today if I did not follow up on my promise to announce our new global membership chairperson, Mark Jarrett of Horsham, United Kingdom, and our events committee officer, Elizabeth Hicks of Miami. You read and saw information about them, and if you're on WhatsApp, you saw the many different photos, videos, and things that we put out there. Today, I would like to end with a dear friend of ours from Rotary Club in Silicon Valley, Ms. Dolly Parikh. Dolly is a wonderful Indian American, super, super smart. We love and adore her. We're very honored to have many different people from other Rotary clubs attend our meetings. And so please, if you would lead us in the final breathing exercises to say goodbye today, Dolly. Thank you and namaste. You just have to unmute a second, Dolly.
A wonderful session today of just making us all feel the fullness around us. And so with that, let's close our eyes. Sit back comfortably and easily. Take a deep breath in and let go. Another deep breath in with the gratitude and fullness that we feel. And let go. Become aware of the sounds around you. It could be sounds from the computer, the buzzing of the AC, be in harmony with the sounds. Be in harmony with the environment. Take a deep breath in and let go. Become aware of your body. Your body is a gift to you from the nature with love. Love and honor your body dearly. Become aware of your legs, your ankles, your stomach, the chest, arms, the face, the mouth, the ears, the eyes, the nose, all the faculties of senses that we are grateful for. Take a deep breath in and let go. Become aware of your thoughts. Become aware of your feelings. You are not your feelings. They're like clouds. They come and go. You are peace. You are joy. You are love. Take a deep breath in and let go. And becoming aware about your feelings, thoughts, body, and the environment. Whenever you feel ready, you may open your eyes in love and harmony.
Well, thank you so much, Dolly. I love all of you. Please feel free to write us, call us. Our phone number is on every page of our website, and we look forward to hearing from you. Anybody in closing that had a closing remark or needed to say something? Thank you. We want everyone to be heard and to feel that they are heard. Have a great week.
Take care, all of you.
Okay. My goodness, guys. Okay, let me just say thank you so much for joining us today for another wonderful meeting of Rotary Club of Global Impact. We really appreciate your support for us. And also, please take a look at Dr. Pauline Crawford's website, Corporate Heart International. She's at corporateheart.com. And I'm sorry, corporateheartinternational.com. Let me just make sure one last time I put that down there at the bottom so you can see that, corporateheartinternational.com. She is available for speeches, keynote speeches, training. She has done a lot of training worldwide on many different continents. She is available as a keynote speaker, a teacher, a professor, and also as a facilitator to facilitate these various different DEI initiatives and authentic harmony, authentic masculinity, and authentic femininity. So wonderful, wonderful stuff today from Dr. Pauline at Corporate Heart International. And of course, our upcoming very next president-elect. So thank you. And here is wishing you a wonderful week ahead of you. We want to thank you so much for all of your support for us. And we really, really, really appreciate your donations to Rotary Foundation. I myself also had recently given to the Polio Fund for Rotary. So we did want to end our show today by just mentioning that one more time about giving your donations. If you're a believer in ending polio on Earth and ending it now, we've stamped out polio effectively in Africa and India and many other countries, down to just a few cases left on Earth. We're so close. So if you would like to go to Rotary.org and click on Donate Now. If you're a member of Rotary, just make sure that when you go in to donate, that you sign in so that you and our club get credit for your donation. I'm a monthly donor to Ending Polio myself. And have a great one. Thank you again so much.
Over 30 years ago, Rotary made a promise to the world, a promise that we would eradicate polio. With the help of our partners and friends, we've made incredible progress toward that goal.
So today we find ourselves on the brink of completely eradicating polio from the face of the earth. When, not if, we get there, it will be only the second time in history that a disease affecting humans has been eradicated.
The Gates Foundation believes that every child deserves a chance to live a healthy, productive life. That's why we're so excited about the partnership we have with Rotary International and the Global Polio Eradication Initiative in the final push to rid the world of polio.
The work of the Global Polio Eradication Initiative redefines what is possible. It shows what we can achieve when countries cooperate around a clear goal.
Africa, a rising continent, 1.2 billion strong. It can only be healthy with united action against preventable diseases like polio. It's important to immunize kids, not just in my own country, Nigeria, but all over the world.
Polio has been reduced by 99%, but Afghanistan is still suffering from it. Our objective is to attain the certification for a polio-free Afghanistan in 2017.
We need to be able to finish this important public health effort that so many have contributed to, and we really need your support for the end game.
We're proud to be part of this global effort to end polio forever, and we'll see it through to the end.
So please stay committed or become committed to add momentum to the final stretches.
The lives that have been changed and enhanced by the work that Rotary has done cannot be underestimated or underappreciated.
Every nation will benefit from a world without polio, and there are millions of children walking today who would otherwise be paralyzed. This is why I give my full support to this historic work.
I'm honored to join you as we walk this last mile toward our goal of a polio-free world.
Together, I'm confident we'll achieve a polio-free world. Let's drop to zero.
Let's drop to zero.
Let's drop to zero.